All right, good morning YouTube, welcome back. Very excited for today. This video needs absolutely no introduction. I'm sure you've seen the thumbnail and you know why we're all here. But today we're going to pick up the new Nissan Patrol. Now, this has been probably a 4-year plan for myself. I actually sell cars for a living under a different brand, but I did start off my traineeship at the Nissan I'll be picking the Patrol up from. Now, I got hooked on these things back then and couldn't shake the habit. I needed to have one. So here we are today. Now, we'll be going into picking the car up and I want to cover a fair bit else as well. So I've got some accessories to go straight on it. I've got my torque exhaust here and my fuel wheels. Now they'll be going straight on as soon as we leave the dealership. And then after that, I'll be bringing the car home and putting on some other bits and pieces that I've acquired for it. And then I want to do a bit of a run around. So a few sort of sneaky little features on the car that I do want to show you because a lot of people seem to miss them. But anyway, very excited. Let's get into it. Alright, now we've got the big bus home. I guess I want to run you around it and just show you why I've done things the way I've done. Obviously, some people are going to have some questions about the standard tyres on the aftermarket rims. But we will touch on that. Now, first of all, what I'm using the car for may vary, and this is the story with any accessory really, but the car's going to be a tow car, it's going to be a daily drive run around, and it's going to be just a beach car. It's not going off-road in that sense. We have the Land Cruiser down there, which is the off-roader. I've actually got Kurt's car there too for sale if anyone's interested in a manual Rugged X. Because we're not doing the off-roading, I didn't see the need to put 35s or any big, you know, chunky aftermarket tyres on it. The problem is with the factory stuff. So if you were to, you know, pull your wheels and tyres off your Patrol, put 10 or 15 Ks on them and try and sell them, you're going to get peanuts for them. You're going to get $500-600 if you're lucky. It's that bad at the moment, and there's so many pairs of them out there, so no one's buying them. So I decided to stick with the factory tyres. The sizing's right. They're an all-terrain tyre. They're going to do what I need to do. So we've done that. Now the wheels, I guess I got very lucky here. I think I've got a bit of footage to show you, but it's probably less than a millimetre off the caliper with the design of this wheel. So these are a 18/9 and they're a positive 20. So the offset's fine, a pretty common offset, but it's, yeah, you're just getting really close to that caliper. So something to be careful of. A few other things I'd like to point out as well is, first of all, the valves. So because these run a tyre pressure monitoring system, it's worthwhile getting another set of valves. You'd hate to go to your tyre shop to have your wheels fitted. They don't have them and you're stuck without them. Also, the wheel nuts. So I actually learned a valuable lesson here from Happy Go Travel. So it does a bit of YouTube content with his Patrol. Now, he put an aftermarket set of wheels on. He ended up snapping wheel studs, and it put him in a bit of a pickle, actually. So the problem is, with the thicker base of the aftermarket wheel, you don't get enough thread off the standard wheel nut. So
I've got these. Now these are from, well, they're both from Patrol apart actually, the valves and the wheel nuts. These are a shouldered tapered fit. They suggest they're suitable for a KMC wheel, I think, but they will fit your fuel wheels just fine. So that explains the wheel and tyre package. Now some other accessories were put on, just the weather shields. I went aftermarket for these. Now these are a HRC, they're an Australian brand, and we've been putting these on our cars for years. So Cruiser's got them, the little Jazz's got them, Integra's got them, they all kind of use them. Once again, Liam's struggling here with the bonnet protector. We thought that was a bit easier job than it's turning out to be. So we're going to get that on in a minute. On the inside of the car, so I know they do come with a carpet mat, but I've done the True Fit 3D mats, in my opinion, much better looking mat. And for someone like me who's going to go beach occasionally, you want to keep it in the mat, you don't want it in the carpets. And with a taller walls, easy to clean, it's going to be a much better option. Now these are very, very hard to get. Sorry about the lighting here. And I was lucky enough to nab a front and rear, or second and third row set, I should say. But very happy with those guys as a product. And we put the exhaust on. So we originally bolted the Torquid exhaust on. Now when we first started, I thought it was actually a little bit quiet and got a bit worried. But even on the way home, it's sort of bed in a little bit more and getting a lot louder as we travel. Come on. I want to say a big thank you to Broadmeadow Tyres and Service for putting up with me today, running around with the camera. Please mention Nissans to Michael for 5% off because he loves them. He adores them. But anyway, we're going to get this done before we run out of daylight or have another random shower. Back with you shortly. Alright, welcome back. This is supposed to be a one-day little video, but never works that way. We're back here at day 5 of Patrol ownership. Now, that has sort of shed some light on a number of different things that I'd like to show you. Before I dive into the rest of the stuff, there's a few little tricks that I want to show you with these cars. So, the first one you probably noticed when you picked your Nissan up from the dealership and you hit the lock button, it is loud as all hell. So, there's a quick trick for this one. What you've actually got to do is, so you take your remote, and you actually hold the lock and the unlock button down until these lights flash. So we're going to do that here until those guys flash. Now when I lock the car or unlock the car, it's not going to beep and blow your ears off. Now the next one is the windows. So you can actually roll the windows down from outside the car. Now I see this all the time on the Patrol page, but unfortunately it's people who've owned the car for 12 months before they've worked out it's a thing. So what we do here is we obviously approach the car of an afternoon after work, for example, hit lock once, and then all you've got to do is hold down the unlock button. Now you've got to hold it down until they drop all the way, but that's obviously dropped your windows. Unfortunately, you do have to get back in to wind them up, but it's something, I guess. So that's a cool, handy little trick. The next one I want to show you is probably the liters per 100. So a lot of people don't actually know how to do this. The menu can get a little bit tricky depending on where the ignition is. So we'll jump in and have a look at that. If we push this top button here to cycle through the menu, now you've got to have the car running and stop to do this. If you try and do it on reds, it won't let you for some reason, but we're going to skip all the way through here. Now we're going to hit the bottom button, which is going to drop us down to options. We're going to enter with the top button. We're going to go down to unit, enter with the top button, and then down to your settings here, enter that. And now we can scroll backwards and forwards with it. So I'm going to leave mine there on litres per 100. I don't, who wants kilometres per litre? I don't know what that's supposed to do, but anyway. Alrighty, now the next handy little trick is the locking system. So as you probably noticed with the doors, when you approach the car with the keyless entry, you push the button on the door, unlock the car. You've got to push it twice to unlock all the doors. Now, Nissan's reasoning behind this is, if you're by yourself and you're trying to jump in the car, there might be people around the car in an unfamiliar neighbourhood. It'll only unlock your door to get in and drive away. But what I'm going to show you now is to turn that off, so when you unlock it once, it unlocks all the doors, because I frankly find it a little bit annoying. So we'll jump in and do that. Alrighty, so I'm going to jump in the car. I just prefer to have things running, it makes it easier. It seems like some settings are available and not available when the car's either in park or it's turned off. So we've got the car running just on your normal screen here. Now we're going to push the settings button down here. Now we're going to scroll across to vehicle settings. Obviously you can push it being a touchscreen. Vehicle settings. And then we're going to come down to door lock. So I've already got one turned off, but obviously that button there will turn that on and off. A few other settings there if you want, but that's just another one that will get you out of trouble. Yeah, yes, there's probably a ton of other settings in the car you want to go through, but I think they're the most obvious and personal ones that get in the way. Plenty more again if you're lucky enough to have a TIL. Now that's a few tips and tricks that I did want to show along with the exhaust system. Now something I found astonishing is with all the videos I watched doing a search, I never once had anyone specify that it's going to be very quiet when the car's new or the exhaust's new and they open up, and that's exactly what's happened. So I've got some cold start revving videos of this day 5 and it's really starting to come to life. I'm very, very happy with the Torquid exhaust system. When I was sort of doing my research, I watched a lot of dash off-road videos. Now this guy's incredibly informative, he's done a lot of comparisons, and I went with the Torquid A because it seemed like the more sensible option. I know that doesn't make sense with most of the cars you do see in the garage here, but it was a more sensible option. It was really, really well built. So I went with the Torquid. The benefit of that too is if I didn't find it loud enough, I can always look at going the next step in line. So I can look at high flow cats, for example, without feeling like, oh, I've bought, you know, I'd hate to buy something that's too loud and drones and carries on. So very, very happy with the exhaust system. Now the next thing I want to point out is the bash plate. So once again, as I explained, this isn't going to be an off-roader. It'll go up the beach and that's probably it. That's all I really want the car to do. Now, when we were under the car the other day at the workshop, we had our attention drawn to the bash plate and the things are pathetic. So as you can see, once again, sorry about the light, but you've only got this front section, which is small and very, very, very thin. Under the back there, you can see the bottom chunk of the sump hanging down, which is in direct line of anything you're going to hit off-road. And I think that's a big no-no for these cars. So I've ordered it's only a 3mm one. Once again, I don't want anything too big and brash, being it's only going to take on the sand. But I think anyone who's even going to go up sand is going to need one of these parts because it's pretty exposed under there. So bash plate should be here hopefully later in the week. Tomorrow I'm actually getting some ceramic coating done and paint correction. So a good friend of mine does this. He assures me that all cars out of the factory have need some sort of paint correction. They're not perfect. So he's going to come around tomorrow and get that done. He does an astounding job. I'm actually very surprised at some of the work he has done. And I'm sure we're going to have a few more cars for him to do. On Friday I've got the tint going in. Now, as you can see, the rear isn't too bad actually. The rear should be about 18% for privacy tint, whereas the front has nothing, and you feel quite naked driving these cars. So I was looking to go a little bit darker, but I've had plenty of people talk me out of it. They're a huge car, as you would know, and driving at night time, it's going to get tricky enough to see as it is. So I'll probably start with the 18 and go from there. Now, another common... Look, I don't hate it, okay? So the wood grain interior. Now, you can get these professionally dipped, which looks fantastic, but the quotes I've got are about $2 grand, where they're going to pull the interior, they're going to hydro dip it to a color or a theme of your choice, and they're going to put it back in. So once again, I don't love the interior, and don't think anyone loves the interior, but I don't hate it for $2,000. That's my biggest problem. So once again, I'm sure you're all familiar with the wood grain. There is certainly no abundance of it. So now I've actually found a guy here local in Newcastle that does wrapping on them. So this guy, he's been tinting window for 5 years or so. I've made contact with him, had a bit of discussion. He's pointed me in the right direction of the wrap he prefers to use. He's asked me to pick out sort of like a pattern, which I've done. That is on its way, and hopefully we're gonna have that done this weekend or next weekend, depending on time. But I'm very excited to see how that pans out. Now this exercise is gonna be sort of sub 500 bucks. With a good quality wrap. Obviously they go on the outside of cars, get parked in the sun and all weathered, so I don't understand why they wouldn't work well on the inside of a car. So that's the next little trick up my sleeve for the interior. Now another toy I've got is the pedal torque. So this is a throttle controller, once again from Torquid. Now I want one of these for a couple of different reasons. Now first of all, people generally buy these when they're off-roading their cars because they tend to be a little bit too twitchy off-road, I'll say. So big problem is obviously big tires, loaded up off-road, and you get a bit of throttle happening. You can break driveline, you can upset the car, you can do a lot of things. So a lot of people put them in the car just to settle it down off-road. I'm putting mine in obviously to vary throttle response, but it should be able to give me a nice I feel like it's a little bit touchy at times out of the box, so I can settle it down when I want to cruise around, but if I want to turn it up and make it a bit more peppy, I can do so as well. Now I really want to test this over the quarter mile, so it got me thinking that obviously if the throttle's a bit sharper, it should make the car technically quicker. I'm not saying it gives it any more power, no one will tell you that, but it should in theory make it that little bit quicker. So I've got a draggy. Now what a draggy is it's a little GPS device. It's designed to simulate like drag racing rules. So it'll give you your 60 foot, your quarter mile times, your mile an hour. It'll give you all that information. So I'm going to put the pedal torque on in another video, and I'm going to sit down and go back to back and see what that'll do. So I'm very interested to find that out actually. So other than that, that's about everything for the big bus. Thanks for checking in. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please, you know, like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. We are trying to grow the channel a little bit. We've got plenty of other content going on. We've got a stack of cars here and we really love getting involved with it. So come along for the journey if it's your cup of tea. But once again, nice to see you. Thanks for checking in. We'll see you on the next one.